What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Arachnid Soul. No, I'm not starting the video like that. Welcome back. As always, it is your friend Arachnid Soul. Please smash that subscribe button before we even get into the shank of the evening, if you will. Let's talk about this game, Cyberpunk 2077, the biggest video game release of 2020. A game 7 or 8 years in the making. A game that I got the day it came out. Now, you know your boy. I don't usually go for the AAA $60 titles and jump up and down, get all excited. I did it with Mass Effect Andromeda. That's another video. I did it with Fallout 4. That's another video. And I did it here with Cyberpunk. Cyberpunk launched on both next-gen consoles, last-gen consoles, and PC. All at the same time. I have it on PC. I've put 50 hours into this game. At first, the game starts out extremely slowly. But once it opens up, there's a beautiful world there. There's lots to do, there's lots to learn. It's fun to figure out. I like doing the missions. I like all of the little side characters, the fixers I can go to. With that said, I'm playing the best version of this game in terms of how it runs and in terms of lack of bugs. Not to say that it's bug free, but the bugs are actually kind of funny. I've got a bug video coming up just out of bugs that I recorded myself. Not even from the first 50 hours, from like 10 hours. I have something like 8 or 9 minutes of just solid bugs that I've recorded. There have been some really good ones when I wasn't recording, but I wanted to talk to you about who is to blame for this whole fiasco. The game was poorly received on console, on last-gen consoles, PlayStation 4s for example, because it didn't run well. It was glitchy, it looks blurry, the frame rate is horrible. They're trying to get 30 frames a second, which is bad in itself. But I've seen videos where some people are fluctuating between 23 and 27 frames a second on the original PlayStation 4s. I mean, obviously the game had to release in the most places possible because this is a massive release. They also understand that, well, everybody's not going to have these next-gen consoles, so we're really losing a big section of the market if they all of a sudden said, oh, we're not going to release it on last-gen. That was part of the budget they came up with. They knew they had that money coming in. So as a result of this game being buggy and being glitchy on some of these consoles, things like Best Buy, things like the actual consoles have said, you can return these things and get full refunds, we'll make you whole again and you can go home happy. The problem is the investors in Cyberpunk 2077 are not happy. Now, there's been some interesting stuff going on the internet where people seem to have a problem with this development team. This is a development team that has come forward and said things like, we knew the game was not finished. There was a tremendous amount of crunch. And we've heard from multiple sources that they had to work, imagine this concept, mandatory overtime. So these developers did everything they could and then some to try to finish this game, to try to get this thing out, and they pushed it back a number of times, delayed it a number of times. They knew the thing wasn't ready yet. They wanted to get it right. They wanted people to be happy. But that holiday season 2020 was coming up, and they knew, hey, we got to get this thing out on shelves so people can buy it for Thanksgiving, for Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, Yule, Christmas, whatever. And the thing came out, didn't do well like I said, so who should we blame? In my opinion, obviously, we should blame the investors. Not the development team, the investors. The people who said, we're gonna back this game, we think we're gonna make this much money, this quick because we're impatient, and we can't wait to start making that money, so force this game out. The irony is that the same investors that wanted this game forced out early, that are now upset that the large numbers they saw on release, which are still large numbers, 13 million, Those large numbers that they saw on release were reduced. I should say they were reduced to like 12, 13 million. This is after people returned the games, which is still tremendous. These investors, being impatient, have decided, you know what, since people returned this game, even though we're the people who rushed it to market, we now want to sue the game publisher, CD Projekt Red, for releasing a game that was not yet ready for release. It's the time-old battle, time and time again, on one side capitalism, and on the other side art, and the problem that they have coexisting, not only because what we're seeing here, but the bigger issue that capitalism says we want to make the thing that makes the most amount of money from the most people, whereas art says we want to make art. This is not a democratic process. We're not trying to appeal to the widest swath. Of course, with a video game, when you have investors, when it's not a passion project, where it's not an indie game, it's a large AAA game made by a massive studio. They might have spent upwards of $110 million on this game or more. That's just a battle that's going to happen. I've loved Cyberpunk. It's glitchy, it's buggy, but everything I said at the beginning of this video is true. I feel like when they get this thing really patched on console, which patch it on console first, because on PC it's already playable. We'd like some updates, but focus on console. The console players are going to be happy in the long run. And then when they implement the multiplayer, which I cannot wait to see how buggy this thing's gonna be whenever it happens, or what it's gonna be about, that might be like Grand Theft Auto 5. And there's already mods for this game on PC, so there's already people fixing things. Could this be like another Skyrim, where there's support for years and these investors more than make their money back if they just wait? Anyway, let me know what you think if you've played Cyberpunk, if you haven't played it, but you've been looking at some of the bugs and laughing. Let me know what you think about the investors versus the development team. Let me know what you think about any of this. As always, smash that subscribe button. It has been your friend, Arachnid Soul, coming at you, saying good evening, good morning, good night, and I will catch you all later.